We have made it to Jacksonville, Florida. We're just a few miles outside of the port. The van is there, it's waiting for us.
Yay, she looks great!
From Zarate, Argentina to Jacksonville, Florida. I think this valve stem has a ton of Bolivian dust in it. As you can see, our bulkhead is fully intact here. Good morning, Love's Travel Plaza. Definitely aren't in South America anymore. It's a stop at our favorite kayak and paddle manufacturer. This is Jackson Kayaks. We're geared up for a summer of fun in North America. Well, I made it to Albuquerque. I started getting an electrical problem. I got my badge and my car tag to Overland Expo West. Woo! Well, look at these cool trucks that can't breathe the air, it's not safe. Well, we're in Utah. This is my happy place. You don't want to trip over your shoelaces. Utah, you are beautiful. Hello, Rocky Mountains, Colorado. But Colorado's home to us. We left here over 11 years ago. Well, I have some updating for you guys. Well, we have changed locations once again, as you might have imagined. Right now, we are on the coast of Alabama and Florida. You might ask, why are we on the coast of Alabama and Florida? Well, it's been almost 45 days since we dropped our van off in Argentina, and it is almost time for us to pick it up in Jacksonville, Florida. So Kathy's mom has a condo here on the Gulf of Mexico. It's beautiful, and we're hanging out here the last few days until we get the call from the port saying it's time to pick up our Winnebago Revel. I can't wait for that. So it's really nice here. It's a beautiful spring day on the Gulf of Mexico. So it is Monday morning, and we're hoping we get more information today. So the way it works with these ports is you don't really know. It's got to go through inspections and all kinds of things, and they just call and tell you it's ready to be picked up. We're hoping we get that call today, but who knows? It could be any time this week. But don't worry, I'm going to take you guys to the port with me. It seems like it's kind of the last chapter of our Pan American trip, is getting our vehicle back to the United States. So we're going to enjoy being here on the beach, but we're hoping our phone rings any minute and we get to go to Jacksonville, to the RoRo shipping port, and pick up our van. And then we are going on a mad dash cross country to Overland Expo West. And it is one of our favorite events of the whole year. If you're watching this video, Overland Expo West is over. But don't worry, if you miss Expo West, we will be doing the same presentation in Colorado at the Overland Expo Mountain West. So come see us there. We're also going to be at the Big Thing event in Montana. That is going to be a really cool one. Lots more coming from us, don't worry. But right now we're going to take in the beach, enjoy our time here, and we'll keep you updated on the next step. We have made it to Jacksonville, Florida. Kathy's driving the rental car here. We're just a few miles outside of the port. The van is there, it's waiting for us. We're super excited to pick it up. Now, as you've seen in other videos, they are not gonna allow me to film in the port. This is a kind of a rule that goes across all the ports that we've ever had an experience with. If nothing else, I'll fill you guys in once I'm out of the port. George's van is here as well, but he couldn't get here today, so he's gonna be picking up tomorrow. So unfortunately, we're gonna miss seeing George. But we're almost there. Let's go to the port and retrieve our van. Okay, we're pulling up to the port office now, so I'm probably gonna have to turn the camera off, but we'll fill you guys in as quick as we can.
Peter just went into the port and they asked him a bunch of questions, asked for our title of registration and the delivery order. And then he had to show his ID and pay a fee, and then they took him back behind the counter. So with any luck, in about 30 minutes, he'll be driving out inside our van. I can't wait. Look what I see coming my way. That's pretty awesome. Hooray! Yay, she looks great. Well,
all right, we got the van. It looks perfect. No damage, nothing missing that I can tell initially. We do have one tire that's really low, and it was that leaky valve stem, I'm sure, that we had in Argentina. So I'm gonna pump some air in there, and we are set. We made it home. What an amazing trip, and we pulled it off. This feels like when it's really actually done is right now, having our van back home. All right, so the only thing we have to deal with is putting a little air in this back tire. I think I'll go around, I'll just check them all, but super easy. I think this valve stem here has a ton of Bolivian dust in it, and that's the only reason it's leaking. But having onboard air, we're gonna fill it up and it'll be good as new. We'll just need to keep an eye on it a little bit. I've got brand new BFG KO3s going on here in a couple of days. So these tires are toast, and when I pull it all apart, I'm gonna clean these valve stems really good, get all the dust bunnies out of there. All right, so I'm gonna take this rear tire up to 70 PSI, and we should be good. As you can see, our bulkhead is fully intact here. Looks great. Nothing seems to be tampered with on the inside. We left our little Mexican flags up. Nobody's messed with those. I did leave an Overland Expo patch right here. Wasn't stolen. Patches are the easy thing that I think people can take because you just rip them off and stick them in a pocket. But otherwise, the rest of the van looks perfect. So we have now shipped RoRo to multiple continents, and we have yet to have a problem. It's really a great way to go. It gets a bad rap. A lot of people think you're gonna get all your stuff stolen or your vehicle damaged. And I'm sure that has happened to others, but it has not happened to us. So when I'm shipping, I usually, if I remember, I set the trip and I make note of the actual mileage. Our van has only driven 3.6 kilometers from Zarate, Argentina to Jacksonville, Florida. That's pretty good. All right, I just got topped off on diesel. When we ship these things, they gotta be almost on empty, so it's always a little bit nerve-wracking getting to the first gas station. So did that, got a full tank. Now we're going to the airport. We're gonna pick up Kathy, who's dropping off the rental car right now, and then we're going west. West! I'll fill you in on that as we go. Let's do this. Good morning, Love's Travel Plaza. We definitely aren't in South America anymore. We're here in South Georgia. We got out of Florida yesterday. It's still hot down here. We slept with the air conditioner on last night, but it was so good to be back in the van. I slept so much better being in my own bed, and I'm super excited to have our van back. So today we're headed up to Rock Island, Tennessee, to our friends, the Jacksons, and to go to Jackson Kayak Factory, where we're gonna pick up a couple of boats that we're gonna use later in the summer. So it's gonna be a big drive day. We got about 6-7 hours, and then we'll be there. All right, so that's it. Let's hit the road. Good morning, Rock Island, Tennessee. We're here at the Rock Island Ranch. This is Christine and EJ Jackson's home. If you are kayakers, you'll definitely know the name of Eric Jackson. He is a very famous kayaker and a friend of ours who started the brand Jackson Kayak and now owns Apex Water Sports. And they've been good friends of ours for years and years and years. We've spent many winters here living on the ranch here, camped in our different RVs and vans and kayaking with the whole crew because there is world-class paddling around here. We're coming back here. We're gonna pick up some kayaks at the Jackson Kayak Factory that we're gonna take with us on some adventures this summer, but it was really cool to pull in here. We hadn't been here in years since we've been going southbound, and good to connect with some really great old friends. Right down the hill from Eric's house here is Emily and Nick Troutman. Emily is Eric's daughter, and both of them are kayaking legends as well, world champions and all that, and they've been huge mentors to Abby over the years, our daughter, and just good friends. We've gone on so many adventures together and done so many things, but it's really good to connect with our friends after being gone for so long. But today is another big drive day. We're gonna first go to the Jackson Kayak Factory. We're gonna pick up a couple of boats that we're gonna use later this summer, and then we gotta hammer down and go to Hot Springs, Arkansas, to Kathy's childhood home. It's her mom's place, and we're gonna then basically unload the van, deep clean the van, switch out some gear, some stuff that we have stashed there, and then keep going west because we've got about a little less than a week to get to Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona. A lot of driving. It's been kind of the wait, hurry scenario here with the van coming in on the ship. Well, we're to the hurry stage. Now today we've got a busy day and we gotta make some tracks. Let's do this. Here we are at the Jackson Kayak Factory, just outside of Sparta, Tennessee. These guys make all the kayaks that we love that take us down the most beautiful rivers in the world. So this is how a kayak is made. It starts off over here in this oven, and these guys will put the resin in the mold. The mold then goes in the oven. It cooks in the oven, and the whole time it's in the oven, it's rotating much like this. But then when it comes out of the oven and all the plastic is melted inside, they have to keep it rotating while it cools. So that's what this boat is doing right here. It's on a cooling jig or a rack, and it is spinning for a certain amount of time until it's solid enough that they can stop it spinning and then pull it out of the mold, and then it'll be a solid kayak, which then it goes over here and it sits in these jigs where they will actually mold, and it helps it to hold its shape while it completely cools off and goes into its final form. It's very cool how kayaks are made, and there's so much labor involved in this. It's amazing the price of kayaks, and that it's not $4,000 for all the stuff that goes into these. All right, there it is, a stop at our favorite kayak and paddle manufacturer. This is Jackson Kayaks, Eddyline Kayaks, Werner paddles, Orion coolers. All of it is made right in that door. So we're super stoked. We've got 2 brand new sea kayaks that we're gonna do some incredible adventures on, a couple more paddles, and we're geared up for a summer of fun in North America. It's gonna be great, and you guys are coming along with us. All right, it's almost noon. We were thinking we'd be out of here by about 10, so we gotta make some tracks. We're trying to get to Hot Springs, Arkansas tonight. All right, let's do this. Been a bunch of driving, but I'm rolling into Oklahoma City. This is where I grew up, and I'm gonna swing by my dad's place, be there for the next day or so. And there's been an unchanged plan. Kathy is going to go to France to see our daughter Abby, who is training for the Freestyle Kayaking World Championships. She's in France right now, but she's gonna be going to Germany, where the actual championships are gonna be held. So tomorrow I'm taking her to the airport. She's gonna fly out. I'm going to Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona, where I will be in the content creator area. Overland Expo West is one of my favorite events of the whole year. It's gonna be really fun to be there, because we missed it last year because we were traveling on the Pan American Highway. Now, we did plan to do our Pan American presentation there, but Kathy and I talked about it, and with her being gone, we kind of decided that we are not going to do it with just me trying to do her parts, because we do it very much together as a team. We will be doing it a few more times this summer for sure. One is going to be at The Big Thing, which is Expedition Overland's new event they're having. It's outside of Bozeman, Montana. And then we'll be back in, I believe it's early August, we'll be at the Overland Expo Intermountain West, which is in Colorado. So those are 2 places that we'll do the presentation. If you're planning on coming to those events, we would love to say hi to you. But boy, getting our van out of the RoRo port in Florida and having about 6 days to make this journey has been pretty intense. I am kind of fried from driving. I've gone halfway across the country now, and it's gonna be most of the way across the country by the time I get to Flagstaff. And before that, I drove from California all the way to Colorado, well, all the way to Oklahoma City. And so I have officially right now driven totally across the country, but I still have more to go. All right, I'll keep you guys in the loop as something more interesting than just driving down I-40 happens. Well, I made it to Albuquerque. That's the good news. But the bad news is I started getting an electrical problem. I got a warning that was a battery icon that popped up on the dash, and it said check owner's manual. Well, I reached out to my friend Paul, who's a Mercedes-Benz tech, and I was like, Paul, what do you think? He's like, it's either a belt, alternator, or something in that food chain. So I started watching the gauges on the dash, which is really nice when you go to that info screen on the Mercedes-Benz Info Center. And I could see my voltage, which should have been at 14, was at 12.5 volts. And I was like, ooh, that's not right. And then as I'm driving, I'm watching the voltage go down. It's pretty slowly, but it was going down. And I've had this happen in another truck. And you know, we got another battery, we plugged the battery in, and basically your alternator has quit charging the battery and you're running off of just the power that's in the batteries, which eventually your battery's gonna go dead, and when your battery goes dead, so does your van or your truck or whatever, dies as well. So I knew I had a little bit of time, and I was about 40 minutes out from Albuquerque, and I just kept coming on in, watching that battery level go down, and I made it here. This is TLC Fleet. This is a shop here in Albuquerque. I've never been here before, but these guys are getting me right in, and they're friendly and nice, and I think I'm gonna get taken care of very well here. So they're gonna put in a new alternator. While we're doing the alternator, you might as well swap out the belts. My belts are getting a little worn, and hopefully this fixes it. And I'll be back on my way, headed towards Flagstaff. So this is part of it. This is part of traveling like we do. You know, things will break, things will go wrong. I'm kind of grateful that it happened here in Albuquerque and didn't happen, you know, 2 months ago in Patagonia. It's a little easier to communicate and to get parts here. So that's great. The funny thing is, 2 days ago, I left my spare alternator that I'd carried all through the Pan Am at my father's place in Oklahoma. But it seems kind of ironic that I leave the alternator behind 2 days ago, and now I need to get an alternator. There it is, the way of the road. All right, should be a couple hours here, and hopefully I'll be going west towards Flagstaff. All right, I have a new chassis alternator and new belts. Seems to have fixed it. Everything is running back as normal as I would expect. I've left Albuquerque, and now we're getting like 60-mile-an-hour gusts. I've got extra kayaks on the roof right now, and holy heck, it is blowing me around like crazy. I'm holding on with both hands going down I-40, just trying to stay in my lane. It is pretty white knuckle driving right now. This has been quite a journey getting across the country, and I'm ready to be there. My Garmin over here says I have 3 hours, 21 minutes left. Boy, I sure hope the wind chills out. That'll be a lot more enjoyable, but we're gonna take what we got and we're gonna keep trucking westbound. I've made it out of the wind. It's finally chilled out, making decent time now, but the sun is setting. I was hoping to be in Flagstaff hours ago. This is overlanding. This is what you get sometimes, and you just roll with it. So I've got a bunch of stuff to do to be ready for Overland Expo that starts tomorrow, and it'll work out. I'm gonna prioritize things. Maybe it all doesn't get done, but I'll get to the important stuff. It's gonna be fun. Overland Expo is always a good time. Good morning. I am within spitting distance of Flagstaff right now. It is just over there. I woke up about 5 a.m. I waited a few minutes for the sun to hit this spot, did a few things around the van, and now I'm headed into town. I'm gonna try to get the jump on the car wash. Car wash the day before Overland Expo is always a busy place, and be ready to put it in the content creator area of Expo West. So I think I'm out of here. This was a beautiful spot. I'm just here on the east side of Flagstaff on some public land, but no time to waste this morning. Got to get moving, so let's do this. One other detail, the van took 4 times to get it to start this morning, but it's a little troubling since I had the new alternator put in yesterday, and then this morning it had a hard time starting. Ugh is all I can say. I do have a check engine light on. They ran it through the code scanner yesterday. It didn't seem like there was anything major on there, so I'm a little at loss as to what it is, but I probably need to figure this out. I need to get the van a little maybe closer to town before I turn it off again and do a test start and see if it fires right up, like I think it will. That is not the type of stuff I need to be worrying about today with getting ready for Overland Expo, but this is the way it seems it always happens, right? Let's get into town and get stuff done. All right, next step is the car wash. This is someplace we always go when we're in Flagstaff. I'm here really early this morning, so it's not as busy. because this afternoon there'll be a line of trucks and cars here. All right, if you're in Flagstaff, like I am, usually you're driving in after spending a lot of time in the desert, exploring things, and you're dusty and dirty and you need a shower. And you don't necessarily want to stay at one of the campgrounds here in town because there's so much amazing wild camping around here. Where do you go? Well, I'm going to show you. This right here is the Flagstaff Aquaplex. This is their indoor swimming pool. It's an amazing facility. And they do have great bathrooms where it's a great place to get a shower as you're passing through or hanging out in Flagstaff. Sorry, this is as far as I can take you. All right, there it goes. Another shower down in Flagstaff. This place is great. Swing in here if you guys need a little freshening up. Let's go to Expo now. I'm here at the KC Highlights Factory in Flagstaff. This is also where the Overland check-in is happening. And you could sign up for a factory tour. And so, of course, I did. It was really neat to go in here and see how KC Highlights are made. You know, I've always ran Light Force lights on my rigs and been very happy with them. They're made out of Australia. But KC is a legend, especially here in the United States. And it was really cool to come and see their lights and see how they're made and what all goes into them. And it's a pretty smart place here. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on. So thank you, KC, for hosting us. Now let's get to the expo. All right, I got my badge and my car tag and I'm set. All right, let's do it. Let's go to Overland Expo West. Good morning, Overland Expo West. I made it. Broken alternator, couldn't keep me from getting here. And I'm parked here in the content creator area with a bunch of really cool people. Today it's gonna actually kick off and get going. And I'm gonna give you guys a little tour of this place. It's 6:30 a.m., so nothing's really getting going yet. A few people are starting to mill around. But this place is gonna be really busy later today and especially tomorrow on Saturday. But there's some amazingly cool rigs here. Some really amazing travelers. Last night I got to talk to Jill Upton, who has actually driven a Jeep through the Darien Gap, one of the few people who have crossed it by vehicle. She's actually done it twice, once in a Jeep and once with a two-wheel drive motorcycle. Full of legendary characters around here, and it's really cool to meet some of these people and hear their stories.
Spectacularly wrong.
I just got some new glasses that I desperately needed. These are by Sunheist. Pretty cool company that I just discovered here at Overland Expo. And I gotta tell you, my eyes are so happy right now. It is so sunny and bright. I'm feeling like I'm just super dried out and getting sunburned. Wow. All right, let's keep looking around Overland Expo. There's so much stuff to see. And we've had some good classes. It's been fun. And now I'm just kind of cruising around, getting the last few places that I want to check out their products. And then I got a meet and greet with my van here at 1 o'clock. But look at these cool trucks. Isn't that something? Well, as you can see, I am no longer at Overland Expo. I am in the Navajo lands. And this is a really cool place. It's a place I love coming to. The desert in and around here is just beautiful. But I've stopped here at this gas station. It's an abandoned gas station, and it's got these really amazing murals. There's some murals here that look like they're built around COVID and the pandemic. Here we have a figure of a Native American with a gas mask on, maybe signaling that you can't breathe the air, it's not safe. And there's another one over here that has a mask and another figure with things coming from their mouth. I find this stuff really interesting, really timely, and a really creative way to just see what people are thinking around here and how they express this visually. think it is really interesting to explore the urban side of the Navajo lands. Things like this, that's obviously it used to be a really booming gas station. There's all kinds of facilities here, but it's kind of been left to waste. And definitely the natural side of this area is really beautiful too. Because I've got a few days, I need to do some work out here, and there's no place for me better to work than in a beautiful place in the Utah desert. So I'm looking forward to that. I have not yet crossed into Utah, I'm still in Arizona, but that's where I'm headed. So let's do this. Let's go on to Utah. It's always exciting for me when I get into the desert. I start seeing the red rocks, the canyons, the cliffs, the ravens. I love the ravens, and it gets me fired up because this is probably my two most special places ever, is the mountains and the deserts. And this year I'm making the transition from South America to North America, and it's really cool to get to jump back into my favorite things, which is the deserts and the mountains of the southwestern US. So as we make our way to Colorado, I'm gonna hit a few of my favorite places on the way. Probably gonna linger just a little bit because it looks like kind of some of the final cold weather is pushing through Colorado. And while I'm really excited to get there, no point in getting there too soon if the weather is beautiful out here in the desert. So we're gonna push on a little further here and go to some of my favorite spots. Well, if I was Forrest Gump and I was right here, right now, I would be finishing my run across the country. This is it, this is the spot. A lot of people stop here, check it out. Figured I'd show it to you guys too. Well, we're in Utah, and because of formations like this that I love it so much, feels really good to be in the Red Rock Canyon country. I am gonna sleep well tonight because this is my happy place. It's not cold, but it's nice and cool. It's gonna be a perfect night tonight. Coming out of Overland Expo, all the crowds, all the people, all the rigs that are jammed in there tight together. Well, I had a really fun time. This right here, camping pretty much by myself. I can see one camper over here off in the horizon, but other than that, it's just me and the desert. It's gonna be glorious. So I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, I've spent all day parked here underneath the Mexican Hat. This is a place I've really enjoyed being and I've spent a lot of time at before. I've gotten a lot of work done. I've been replying to emails, replying to your comments on YouTube, and editing the next video. I think here in a second, I'm gonna go for a hike. up to the base of the Mexican hat. Now, if you see the video, I'm gonna put a link to it right here. You can see the last time that I climbed to the top of the Mexican hat. So I think I'm just gonna hike up to the balcony and hang out under the sombrero and take in the sunset. To hike up underneath the sombrero of the Mexican hat, I will normally approach from the northeast, and there's a little buttress here with a few little rock bands that you've got to climb through. It's pretty much fourth class climbing, but it is a little exposed in a few places, so you don't want to trip over your shoelace. This is the first cliff band that you'll want to climb through. All right, I'm up here on the shoulder now. Getting up underneath the hat almost now. Got one more layer to get through. This here is the next cliff band that we need to get through. See my van way down there. This crack right here is the way up to underneath the sombrero. Look at that thing. I came up this little ledgy crack system right here. All right, here I am underneath the giant sombrero. This thing is amazing. And please don't go down in history as the biggest idiot of all time and leave your name scratched in this rock. That is just a terribly selfish and lame thing to do. Well, it's a pretty awesome end of the day, sitting under the Mexican hat. You can see all the way to Monument Valley, the anticline, the San Juan River, the town of Mexican Hat. And right over here is the Goosenecks, Muley Point. There's so much cool stuff in this area. All right, I'm almost back down to the Revel van. That's a nice little hike. If you guys are passing through the Mexican Hat area, this is a great little leg stretcher. But what a great day in Utah. I'm really glad I'm here. And I'm really starting to look forward to my time in Colorado, which is coming very soon. I think let's go over to one of my other favorite spots and see what's going on. Well, here's another favorite. Right down here is the goosenecks of the San Juan River. This is an awesome place. We've been coming here for years. This is a beautiful overlook here, and you can do like a week-long river trip that takes you through this canyon. It's a beautiful trip. Maybe we'll do it later this fall. When I flew to California to pick up Abby's truck, I remember flying right over there, and I was looking down here on the goosenecks. It's a landmark that you can see from the air. And I always love seeing these geographic features to then show me where I am, and then I use that to help me find cool places in the future. But this is a great spot. All right, let's keep going to another one of my favorite spots. It's not far from here. Utah, you are beautiful. Usually this time of year, it's getting pretty hot out here, but there's a cold front sweeping through Colorado and it's cooling it off over here as well. I am so glad I'm here. I came here on my way to Colorado. I'm watching the river levels there to paddle on the Arkansas River. I got a bunch of friends I'm meeting up with this weekend, and the river has just dropped. It's dropped almost 500 CFS in the last week, and it really needs to come up another 200 or 300 to be super fun. So I think I'm just gonna spend one more day in the desert before I start heading towards Colorado, because it's cold and kind of gloomy there, and it is bluebird and splitter and nice and warm here. That's not a bad choice I have to make, choosing between Colorado and Utah, two of my favorite states. I might just spend the night right here. I have a handful of camp spots that I like out here. This is one of them. And you know what? If you're a patron, I'm gonna put a pin to this spot right here for our patrons. I try not to share locations to just the whole world, but I do that as a perk to my patrons. And I like to give them some of these locations, a little more insight into the places I go. Consider joining our Patreon. That's where you're gonna find our field guides and cool little perks like this campsite. We have done guides from Alaska all the way down to Baja with all the information you need to plan your own trip. It includes cool camp spots like this, favorite restaurants, favorite routes to take, you name it, it's in there. It really makes it easy for you guys to then plan your own trip to some of these beautiful places that we visit. Okay, I want to give you just a few tips on keeping places like this happy and open for all of us to use. This is just general protections for our public lands. Only drive on trails, do not drive off of trails, only camp in places where other people have camped, which goes along with the driving off trails. Pick up all your trash, don't be a litter bug, even pick up other people's trash if you find it. And I think what's best with human waste out here is to pack it out. A lot of the governing bodies will say it's okay to dig a cat hole, but some of these places that are seeing a lot of traffic, even cat holes are becoming a problem, because there's really even gets to a point where there's nowhere to dig a cat hole without digging up someone else's poop. So I think it's best to bag it, pack it out if you don't have a toilet. If you have a toilet system like us, then that makes it really easy. But whatever you do, let's just try to minimize our impacts on the land while we're coming out here and enjoying it, because this is our land as US citizens and visitors to the United States. This public land is for all of us to use, but it's also our responsibility to take care of it and make sure that it stays open for us and our kids and our grandkids. We got to take care of this place. So don't give any of the land managers a single reason to want to close us out. Let's do our best to take care of it. But most of all, we want to do all of that and just have a hell of a good time back here, because it is so awesome. Because this is one of the things that makes America great, is these public lands that we get to use. But today's the day. Today's the day that we're going to go to Colorado. We're going to jump across the border over towards Durango and on to the Arkansas River Valley and Buena Vista. Hello, Rocky Mountains, Colorado. Feels so good to be here. You know, if you're new to our channel, you don't know this, maybe, but Colorado's home to us. We left here over 11 years ago and have been traveling ever since. But every time we come back to Colorado, it sure feels like home. And I gotta tell you, I'm pretty excited to be up here on Wolf Creek Pass. I've made the journey over from Utah, and it is cool and crisp. There's snow on the ground in places, and it feels like a beautiful spring day in the Rocky Mountains. All right, it feels like we have officially, truly made it home from our Pan-American adventure. Being up here on the Continental Divide in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains, it just feels right. I want to thank you for watching this video. Please hit the like and subscribe button down below. It really helps our channel grow, and I really appreciate it. So that's it for now. We'll see you next week. And until then, I hope I see you somewhere over the horizon. Right up there.